What's up guys, it's Metasploit and I'm doing a video of a poker study session using PioSolver. Just to give you a small insight on what PioSolver is, I'm just going to play a small video so you can go through it.
So you're a poker player and you're looking to improve your game. You may have a lot of experience with GTO poker, or maybe you're just beginning to learn what GTO is all about. Either way, you have arrived at the right place. Welcome! In this video, I'm going to introduce you to PioSolver, a cutting-edge tool that more and more professional players choose to add to their arsenal.
So as it says, it's a cutting-edge tool which more and more professional players are trying to add to their arsenals. It's pretty self-explanatory that if you're someone who's playing professional poker, then you want to incorporate these things in your arsenal. You might be wondering what is GTO. GTO stands for Game Theory Optimal Strategies, and you can learn, it's basically a strategy that you would play in poker when you're not exploitable and you're always exploiting your opponents. And there's a software built for it, and this is how this is the software. If you study and solve equations on the software is how you learn the strategies, and we'll just continue the video.
PioSolver has been described as essential for anyone who wants to study GTO, and we believe it is the best tool of its kind on the market.
So that's very good. It has been described essential for anyone who's taking professional poker, and it has been described as the best of its kind in the market. So it costs like the one that I have right now, it costs $245. There's a pro version which is for $445. I think if you're just a beginner trying to understand GTO and solve some basic simulations, then you can go for the basic one, but eventually you will need to upgrade to the pro one. But I think the basic one is what I'm doing right now, and we will play the video.
So, what is PioSolver, and why is it making waves in the world of professional poker? PioSolver is a very fast GTO solver for Hold'em. It handles post-flop spots with arbitrary starting ranges, stack sizes, and bet sizes, and it solves arbitrary trees in minutes. Up until very recently, this functionality was thought to be impossible on a home computer. In fact, whole books were written trying to approximate answers, which PioSolver can nail down in just minutes. What should be the betting frequency on the flop? What hands are the best semi-bluffs on the turn? What hands are the best bluff catchers on the river? Which c-bet size is the best to use on the flop?
Okay, so we'll answer all of these questions in a hand review that we're going to do now, but just to give you a small insight, once again, it says it handles post-flop spots with arbitrary starting ranges, stack sizes, bet sizes, as well as desired accuracy. And it's the first in a new generation of tools moving poker from a game based mainly on intuition to a game based on analysis and math. So that's the most simplest way to put it. 10 years back, poker was all on intuition, but now it has analysis and math involved to get the desired outcome. And we do it with the solver, feeding it some input. So this is how we're going to do it. I played a hand where it's button versus cutoff. Button versus small blind, single raise pot. Everyone folds to the button opens, we call, he calls too, and everyone else is folded. So button versus small blind, and the big blind is also called. As you can see, everyone folds, BTN, button raises, we call, and the big blind calls too. There's the flop starting stack, so we will open the solver. And this is how the range looks like. The OP range, which is small blind calling range. This is how the calling range looks like. Obviously, we would be 3-betting 8, 8, 9, 9s, 8s plus, and we're also 3-betting ace king off ace queen, king queen, ace king suited, ace queen suited, king queen suited, and king jack, queen jack suited, ace jack suited, ace 10 suited, and jack 10 suited. So I think all these hands are 3-bet, so we're not going to include them. Even though like you can put like a 25% weight on them to induce a 3-bet. If you have like really strong, you can sometimes flat to induce a 3-bet, but it's going to be like in a very small frequency that you're doing. So you can also do that, but I would rather not. So it's like, this is how the calling range looks like, and the button open range, raise first in range looks like this. Around 44.49% combos is what he would be opening from the button, a standard button. So this is how the range looks like. The bet sizing that the button used in this particular example, at the end, he bet on the river He didn't bet in the entire pot, but the river, as you can see, he bet 2,205 chips into 2940, which is basically 75% bet. So we have given him an option to bet 75% on the river on the last spot, and we are solving this with three sizings. One is 3366 on all the streets for ourselves, and for him we're giving him the same size, but he hasn't bet in the hand, so but the only bet size he used was 75. So, and our bet sizing would be 3366, 3366. This is the two sizings that we would solve it with. As you can see, the pre-flop pot over here is 1740, so if we feed the solver with 1740, and the effective stacks would be 11,500, because I've done the math. I'll explain the math later on. If you split this amount, and if you have this amount, and if you minus what he's called, this guy, it's 420, and the small blind, the antes in the pot, which is 120, so that's 120 plus 420, so it's like 540. So if you have this and subtract that by 540, that's what he had, right? And if you do the math, it's 11,500. So that's his effective stack, and we are going to solve this particular tree. So I'm going to build it. I've already built it, it's solved, and you can build it again if you want. I'm going to build the tree again, and we're going to solve. So it has started. It will take a minute to solve. As you can see, it's consuming all my CPU cores, and my RAM is like really fucked right now. I have like 8 gigs of RAM, so I'm gonna upgrade it soon, because you can't sim with multiple bet sizings and multiple raise sizings if you don't have enough RAM. So as you can see, the amount of pressure it puts on the CPU cores here. My CPU cores are never at this much pressure unless I use the solver. So it says exploitable. It has solved the entire tree, and it says exploitable for 6.5529%. Now we're going to go into the results, and we're going to stop the solver. There we go, the browser. Let's say what we did was, on the flop we did a bet. We did bet on the flop, which was 600. So if you see strategy, it is telling us to, we have queen 10 of hearts. It's telling us to check on a frequency of 72%. As you can see, our hand is queen 10 of hearts, so it's telling us to check 72% and bet 600 on 13% frequency. So we did bet 600, and he calls. So for him, he has ace jack off, so it's telling him to call his combo. He has ace of clubs and jack of hearts. So for his combo, it's telling him to call like 82% of the time, so he did call there. And the turn is a king of spades, as you can see. The turn comes a king of spades, so that's the king of spades. Now we've been asked to check most of the times, and we're also betting 66% pot 40% of the times, and we are betting 33% 25% of the times, but we check 33% of the time. So we did decide to check here, and the opponent checks back. As you can see, the turn action was check, so he checks back. And now the river is a 10 of clubs. 10 of clubs. Now you see, it asks us to still check 45% of the time. So we did check in the hand, actually. As you can see, we did check the river. So we're going to check. And as you can see, he's always going to bet his combos. So it's asking him to bet 2,500. So he bet, as you can see. At the end, he bets, and we did call, but it's asking us to call in high frequency. Our combo is being asked to call 94.5% of the times, which means basically it's telling us to call this combo. So what we did was a solver approved play. This is how I would study, but it would also tell me to fold sometimes. I mean, this is a hand which is always calling, but if it was